11. The excuses are crazy. They are picked up, but why? When such insight takes one down, then thought itself is answered by the intelligent answerer.
The intelligent answers deserve my questions, and the truth of reality becomes the answer.
When everything is nonsense, then the absence of the rolling hills will not resemble anything smooth.
The brown ice cream is hard to attain, and today, tomorrow, and yesterday all cause the dry air to rise as the warmth bounces off the clouds.
When despair brings insight, then the prayers are for knowledge, and they are kind of safe to say, as the knowledge is a knowledge of an all too secure faith.
When there is wakefulness, the carpet is lowered, and yet I still cannot picture you as an ant.
And when you transport yourself back to me, then the normally large objects seem small, millions of macro worlds are closer.
When the sandpaper is not affecting my throat, then my saliva does not burn. And, when I do not expect anything steady, then the wind will awaken and take me out of sight.
And when everything is destroyed again, human energy will weaken, and electricity will be the same as it always was.
When the wide tunnels are shortened, then will smooth out the controlled waters. And when what was an engraved perfection is casually rubbed away, then the walls will lose their planks, and the upper roof of the home, and the bricks supporting it will shatter.
The frozen filler cannot hold the wall in place, and disagreements are if the yellow was the best color there, and nobody has goofed up.
When the slanted boards rise perpendicular to the square shelter, then there will be a calm which is the origin of all peace.
These are the same situations, and they can be judged differently when the faith becomes knowledge, and when reality is still not completely true, then the past will become the present, and the meanings will die away.
When all of the lies are judged by nobody, then the judgment will happen after death. And, when most of the time the future is worth more than the present, then the payment will be delayed again, and many questions will be answered.
And when time becomes eternal, then everybody will still not know everything, even though the world will remain lively, and when a double-sided truth is still not believed, then I will decide then to be either for it or against it.
12. When science takes away one's freedom as its laws give to all no freedom, then the outcast loses the freedom which is meant to decide the beginning.
When there is someone you love, and when loss is wholly spoiling all of the parts, then you can travel back in time, but you will not be able to change anything that you have written down.
When I am lazy and things pile up, then I will be satisfied with the answers, and the solutions will be one.
When I allow for no music to enter my ears, then the drums will go on without me, and my body will disintegrate.
When I care for the tribal drums again, they will be welcome to summon me in my waking state as real as the desert upon which they sound.
The bricks brighten farther outwards, and the blackness of the city has yet to be found. The noise is of a rising of the drops, which have left the volumes of the bodies of water.
The blips sound away into the noise, and there is another similarity between same things, which is that I know always when I am in the light and its colors that keep.
The rings cannot be seen from here, the rings are red on the clouds appearing, and when the stories temporarily shine, then the points often cannot happen, and we will exit the plains.
They go slower than any human, and they travel quickly into sleep rising with the comfort of a victory and breeze.
When the yellow dots are spread out, then the eyes will use much motion to comprehend what they are.
And when everything is resolved and clear, then the objects will steady the calm head.
13. When I left the blue-tinted room, there were computers all around me. The people were doing no work, and I knew that I too would not be working.
There was a silent man in front of me, and I rose up, and Steve rose before me. The man did not wish for us to go, but he did not talk to us about that. After sitting idle by the computers, I had to go to the restroom, and I went out into a pavilion. In a small room was a bar, but there were no doors, and yet it was a respectable place.
Some people told me that there were doors for the restroom, so I found them, and I did not return to my work.
I had an idea of what I was doing there, and the computer did not turn into itself, but the computer became just a picture.
I did not tell my boss about it, but he was mean, and he bossed me, and I found myself in another room, where I picked up some colorless everyday objects from off of the floor.
The objects broke, and the boss was mad, and some lady and I had some skateboards, and we were standing on them at the top of a hill while the moon was out.
The road had some whipped cream or toothpaste snakes drawn on the curb, and we had pushed our way up the hill.
I have forgot that I was happy, and I was not so serious. The hill was shorter than usual, and our trip did not take long. As I was not serious, the clouds slowly left, and took with them the storm.
It was not as if I myself changed the weather, and I still had fun starting to play in the dryness, but when I got home I heard my sister telling my dad that I was in trouble for skating in the dark.
When coming back crunches a few leaves, then destiny afterwards lets things loose, and in the stones is embedded a wisdom which, always on the move, will ever so try for a few more follies.
When education is wasted, then the wind will slow down to a halt, as if to lift away the light outside, and as I am so very far away from something, I do not scrabble anything down.
14. When the bibble babble is not called for, and when the blueness of the sky is close to you, then the limits are less real, and the secrets will be known.
When the secrets are seen, then the resources will not be there, and you will wonder why.
There is no vocabulary in the architecture, and my own way through the paths and structures is forgotten. I give myself over to the wastefulness which is whatever is not poetry.
Whatever it is not experimental, and the forms are not seen in the structure, and there is no composition for arrangement, nor is there any planning, language nor sound. When there is no vocabulary, there will not be any echoes, least of all my ability to smooth things out is without form.
And when I stay the same in my room, then it will take some sleep to curve me out, and then my vocabulary will have a form.
And when I am in the field with the nature around me, I will explore that field and the nature around me which is blurry. And as it is not like any architecture, I will be able to connect as many blurs as I can, where there are no corners, windows, roofs, sizes, nor modes. But by doing this, I will have a future for my life here.
Where there is poetry, there is a past. And, I will experiment with these harmonies that I assume are forms but not criterion.
And when I have another's love, then I can get my peace, and lose the etymologies which were impossible to understand. Then the way will be misunderstood of those writings I gained.
I am certain that I have left them on top of the car.
And when I begin, things will have already passed.
And it is my old journal which I feel has some definition to its wonders.
15. The opportunity drills just for a short time, and my belief is to make a perception of what I cannot see.
When the only order is an order under which I am obligated to disbelieve, then I believe in nourishing the senses with some help as I lie down on the open field in the pointy soft grass.
And, as I get away from future barriers, I have a good interview, but my name, age, and birthplace are not known.
And, when the grass is covered up, whatever is beyond it is as local as my time.
When it is stolen from the rocks, the covering darkens and freezes into a shell, which protects the solidity of the rocks.
And, when I am asked to leave with the sunshine, then I am not prepared since I have been led to create for my use a dominant plenitude of time.
And when I procrastinate when I'm older, then I will bring forth a gift in the ooze, which is for the preparation of the dawn.
And, then I will know that I am not being used. And, my mind will not differentiate between the ancient fossils and new berries, both of which are driven into the leaves and the stone of my mind.
If I am saddened by staying very still, then that night I will take off my boots and fall asleep in the quietness of freedom.
And when the air begins to thump, and my body is pushed over to the live trees, then I will rattle their thick boughs and remember my trance.
And my eyes will open and I will stop dreaming.
That night, I will take myself away in sleep and I will be lost in it.
The question makes for another question which is different than the defining of a definitum.
For example, you cannot make up these rules of inaccuracy and of obscurity.
In addition, by not explaining nor describing nor predicting, you may be subject to space and its containment.
My own calm state of mind is possible to come with poetry, so that I do trust in allowing it to set me free with further explorations.
And when the writing means to get out of me, then no experiment can fix the words, and there will not be another binary opposition in the room.
And what I cannot do, and what I can, will be creative.
And the science will not oppose itself to my story, which comes out from stories.
16. When fictions and vocabularies become unmixed with words and their sentence structures, then the paragraphs too will be incorrigible with a newness.
In and out, I am not between fantasies. and being unmixed with the levels of thought, a division of nonchalant themes, operate upon me, just like my awareness of blinking.
And you and your own eyes are no mystery, and every day I avoid looking back so that the people sitting by and around me can emerge out from their shadows into society.
And when they do not listen to my valentines, they will not meet with each other on the land, and nobody will own anything nor sponsor me, and I will not speak of history anymore, nor about the artists who have avoided looking at the map.
And then I will pick some places, but not the Miller Outdoor Theater, and I will drop out of architecture, and the unifying will not be the only way to bring together the rooms, but by trust even more than faith will I do so.
And it is not that important to assume that I will be the sculptor of the architecture, and what I build will not be any music nor any writings, but I will teach still others to further a didactic art, which is not of these houses nor sculptures, but of their models, which shine by a light which I cannot hold any more in myself.
And, the actual and exact ways of their fictional construction will not be a music which I let out of me, as I do the light from them, but a light will shine and the curves will spread out diagonally like a picture where the image happens simultaneously with the picture that happens at every moment of every scene.
And I will give this as my example, and my thoughts will move onward, and when they snicker at my calling, I will snicker back in the hallway where I am, and I will focus on their happy and clear eyes, and I will not look out the window.
And, if they wish to steal my car, or fly past the hills, and do it in a normal way, then the world will be able to assume with me that our feelings have been according to that thinking which moves outward, which has always been a strong possibility, and there will still be those who keep back the echoes, and we still will not know what to do with them.
17. I do not apprehend how to apply the knowledge which makes poetry into my freedom.
And, the treats are the cause and the effect is therapy, but it is a real imagination that questions.
And when all of these are all reformed, then the experience of a few will be nonsense if they are nothing.
And, the first most knowledgeable thing in the world is to see openly that one added to one makes two.
And the second is not of the denial of it.
A rest then is taken forward when I leave to find my life, and I recycle in an unlucky time my music though it is not heard, but still I begin to live again for today.
And the paper, the canvas, and the photograph, of how similar shapes can create a difference, have given to me an idea about the garage, and I will take down the cube-like modules to create depths so that the unity will be of each shape that is outside of me.
The colors will be still and steady, and the organization to come later will not be driven by any powerful force, but will create, by its own given inaction, a few models of me.
And after that I will deepen, and the school of that will motivate me to hold back what is concrete again from the bricks always, and I will not want to mix those materials which are not concrete, though the wood may modulate independently.
And when Bataille is ignored, the cooperation will not be traced in our history, and we will use no metaphors to create life or death or heaven or excrement or mouth or body or mind or human or inhuman or change or permanence or material or ideal or discontinuity or continuity or genealogy or history or appropriation or heterogeneity or homogeneity or art or thinking or science or philosophy until we choose to see what is entirely clear.
And that will not be difficult to grasp, because the structuralists will say nothing about the post-structuralist followers.
18. This optimist television is ontological.
It constructs a capitalist entertainment without respect to simulacrum or hyper-reality.
And when grammar is not of the king's English, the tennis balls are gripped as you would a head, and someone sitting down has a brown dog beside him.
And that one-legged man sings a song.
The pantyhose is wrapped around his head when the bank robber will have his memento, and he will come forward with his country song and dance.
The water faucet is not by the window where I am standing, watching a soap opera or a talk show.
Now they are jumping because the animal there is a mouse, which of all animals is a rock mouse.
The wind is for Andy, but not for me.
This flashlight has no flash anymore, and my face is still funny.
The background music still does not prepare any way for me, but the sky is the answer, and out of it comes a stick for the grass.
The bull circles me, and it has a goal but it does not have a direction, and I have still not changed my mind, which is for the diamond.
And my interest is for the music, but not for the hot dogs, and life like this winter has passed its pale sky, which lengthens out under the trees by a home.
And the mouse is lengthened too.
It goes up wisely to take what it can from me.
And I smile.
19 Gadamer's was a phase.
And, Illing was a fable.
Of art I too am fooled, and I become noisy, and I talk in dead ends.
Whatever causes from the silence even more silence, that cause of the silence itself is its hush.
But I have never got used to the whispering, and it does not prick me onwards to come nearer to some other.
Ours is of emotion on a trampoline.
I have been thinking of the process in terms of the space, because the structure we had once had a plan.
And, as I cannot do without music, I just make up some abstract goals, and my motion becomes as commonplace as my talk, and when I jump around it gives to me significance that there is simplicity in this beauty, and if it is a trick, then I will take it up with difficulty with the black octopus.
20. I know it will take me another 2 years.
I am with my group, and we are shaping up the thoughts and moving ahead.
But these tools are not efficient ones. No, it is the schemata which I do not need.
Nor does its structure become experience.
Only when things are finalized will the movement I have become singular.
And then, finally, the seconds will slow down, and the movement will be as romantic as my other relationships I have.
Then the irony will have been learned, and the concepts of Foucault, Nietzsche, Derrida, Lyotard, Rorty, Marx, Baudrillard, and others will make impossible the opinion that I have of me here sitting down in the flow of time.
My audience too is in the flow of time, but who can be in these sentences that have had neither dialogue nor discourse?
There is no building up of a story, and neither is there a text within me.